Alright guys, so today I was going to talk about feminism um in general and what I think about it. For starters, when feminism first started, I feel like most of the people involved in the movement had pretty pretty noble ideas, it was a part of it, about, helping women to realize that, they can do things and, they don't have to let men boss them around all the time and they can work their way up in society and so forth and, they should have the right to vote and whatnot. And, I think that was great. I think that was good. I don't have anything wrong with that. But you look at the people who are really behind it, the people who are really pulling the strings from this movement, and you've of course got the Rockefellers, of course, doing it, and and the government, and the whole point was pretty much to do a number of things. Like one, they wanted to collect more taxes, right? So it's almost like a trap, or it's like this idea that if if a chicken if the chickens lay like one egg every day, they think, oh, well, maybe if we lay two eggs a day, then we can get a break. Well, now the farmer's just going to start collecting two eggs a day. And so that's the thing. What happened was when women start getting in the workforce, they start making more money. Well, now the government's like, oh, great, we can collect more taxes now. And so that way it's like a trap, and now women can't go back into being like a housewife, which isn't a bad thing. People use housewife like such a derogatory term, and it's not. It was something really beneficial to children, and like one of the things that you'll see is that when kids were closer to their parents, it's harder for the government to act tyrannical because of that benevolence they're used to growing up. Keep in mind that when you're a kid, if you're exposed to lots of benevolence and love, then you grow up, you're not going to be in too much to tyranny, right? But if you're exposed to, like, abusiveness or emptiness, then it's going to be easier to grow up with tyranny. And so it's pretty much just a way for the state to take over raising the children, which is one thing. And more things is that it's basically, to destabilize society, to split us apart so the government can make it easier to control, and so they can collect more taxes, like I said. The people behind it didn't really have women in mind when they thought about it, And then, on other notes, like, women, now that they want equality, they still want chivalry, and it's like, pick and choose, pick and choose. Like, I'm not your slave. You're not like a higher being than me, like, especially men who talk about chivalry. They often say something like, oh, you can't hit a girl because that's not chivalrous. I don't think that you should hit anyone, just go up to hitting anyone. But, if a girl hits you, if you honestly and sincerely want to be chivalrous, you would hit her back. You would hit her back. Because, here's the thing. When a former squire, or when a squire is being knighted, the king hits him. And that's the last insult he's ever allowed to take without retaliation. It's the last one. And so, really, chivalry today is such a watered-down thing. If you want to hold open doors for women and let them go first and stuff like that, I've done stuff like that too, and it's great. You can do that all you want, and I respect that. But if you're going to make other people do it, then this is really annoying. Don't make other people be chivalrous. Make that something special that you do. But don't demand it from everyone else. And another thing is, don't be a suck-up, I'd rather have, like, no women ever like me, but be single with my honor and my dignity, than to become a complete suck-up, and have a wife who's pretty much going to, like, tell me what to do and, like, be my boss my whole life. And of course, a lot of people, like, look on that and frown upon that and say, you need to be good and whatnot, and you're just against authority. I'm like, shut the frick up. I can do what I want. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll get more into that later, but just feminism is, and it's so hypocritical. And I'll admit there are some ways in society that women are disadvantaged. Like you look at job pays and like glass ceilings and stuff like that, and I believe there is evidence of it and it does exist. But um, really, if you think about it, women have so many advantages. Like if a guy hits a girl, he's going to jail. But if like a woman hits his wife, then what did I just say? If a woman hits her husband, then it's okay, and crap like that. And this is so stupid. How many legal advantages women have? Like they get like shorter prison terms, and there's all sorts of just cheeky little advantages. You can look up like all of the things women have over men, and it's just sickening. It's just terrible. Like that one woman who cut her husband's penis off, and everyone was cheering her on. Everyone was like, "Oh, you go, go!" That's disgusting. Shut up. That's terrible. Well, what's wrong with you guys? And so just this whole like feminist idea that women like need special treatment. And like back on the chivalry thing, yeah, honoring women was a part of chivalry, but I think mostly that was like honoring her purity or her virginity or her relationship with her husband or whatever. I'd say it does extend further than that to like respect your lady and everything, but really chivalry is not what you think it is. If you really want to be chivalrous, which I always say chivalry died with King Arthur, if you really want to be chivalrous, fast on Fridays, because that's one of the things knights had to do, and you have to fight the infidel and all this crazy stuff. And when you look at all that, you can't really call yourself chivalrous, just because you respect women, and feminism is just, it's creating, I don't know, but a bad attitude in in women, like, oh, I can just be a big, strong black woman and I don't need no man or whatever, and I can do what I want. I'm going to divorce my husband, kick him around and stuff like that. I was like, first of all, just because you can do something, maybe you are a big, strong, independent black woman, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should, and it doesn't mean that you have to or you need to. Like, I admit, like, I could, something like, I could wear pink every single day. Every single day I could wear pink, and I don't have to do that. I can, just because I can do it. I'm empowered, I can wear pink, but it doesn't mean I feel the urge to do that, and that's what feminism created. It creates, like, an urge for women to, like, diss men and slap men and get a divorce if they want. And then there's that whole divorce situation where, if a woman divorces a man, she can take all his stuff and his kids and leave him with nothing because divorce courts are so biased these days. And it's just, oh my gosh, it's so incredibly stupid. Like, you beg for equality, but you still want all the special treatments. It's like, pick or choose, one or the other. It's just so stupid. And again, like I was saying, if you want to let women go first, which I've done before, and you want to, hold doors open for women, which I've done plenty of times, good for you. That's great. Of course, I hold doors open for everyone, not just women. But, if you want to do it, fine. But don't force it on others, And don't look down on other people because they don't do it themselves, because, in the end of the day, I think there's a difference between being chivalrous or being nice and just being a plain suck-up, and suck-ups are just one of those things that can get really annoying because they're basically selling off their honor just to get people to like them so they can get status, and it's just one of those really annoying things in life. My throat's starting to get sore. And then another point I'd like to make on that whole women can't be housewives anymore, they have to go and get a job because of increased taxation. Like, I remember my grandma was once saying that. My grandma was once saying that same thing, and she's just like, and basically, no, my grandma was saying that, women have to work now and they can't afford to live in their homes. And then I came and said, oh, it's because the feminist movement made it so that there are higher taxes for both. And she said, yeah, I was thinking that, but instead I said that it was about, inflation and bad economy and so forth, because I lived through that movement. It was about empowering women. And it's almost like she knew it, but she didn't really want to admit it. Because, I think, women, if you want to be empowered truly, you don't have to diss your husband. Really, who do you think you like more? Someone who you met because you fell in love with, or the big government who pretty much is going to treat you like crap? And of course, you hear all these stories about women divorcing their husbands just because they want to go on like some weird adventure, live some fantasy and stuff like that. And I'm like, what the heck happened to like loyalty and honor and respect, and doing what's really right? I'm empowered, I could go as a man, I could hit up like all the hookers in this city. I could get so many women pregnant, I could have sex every day, but I don't do that. Men have always been able to do that. I don't do that, I still act halfway decent. I still act with like honor and dignity and respect. Those things are dying. Chivalry died with the feminist movement. Alright, Antigone died with King Arthur, but it also died even more with the feminist movement, and women just look for some perfect knight in shining armor. If he ever existed, they would have killed him before they knew who he was. Because they're always so, like, demanding. And another thing is, with girls, not all girls, but a lot of them, like, their minds are all, like, connected. Like, they all have to think, like, the same way, it seems like. And it's just one of those things that sickens me, There's almost no room for a unicorn. But, that's all. I guess that's all for my feminist rant for now. So, thanks for watching, and auf Wiedersehen.